Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. I am leaving my Walmart, and I just saw this article. It came out 4 or 5 hours ago. You know, I read it from Fox News, but you really can't be biased on natural disaster type stuff. So don't worry if it's right leaning or left leaning. Um, Big snowstorm going through the Northeast. They said it can affect about 10 states. 10 million people are in its path. Uh, and, it's either Massachusetts or Maryland. And I'm drawing a blank. I know the other one's New York, but they're saying 123,000 people are without power. Um, while this snowstorm is blowing through. So, uh, I know being further north, you deal with the snow a bit more, but it's kind of reminiscent of the snow apocalypse or that big polar vortex that came through Texas last year. Um, my grandpa, who still has about 3/4 of a cord of wood, those of you that don't know, 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. So pretty substantial amount of wood. Um, he told me some afternoon this week when I get off school, and I just dumped that everywhere. Some afternoon, he wants to go get more because he's reading about what's happening somewhere else. And while it is cold here, it was 29 last night. Um, it's not terrible, but that's his version of being prepared. Uh, so, I kind of talked about the things that you need to prepare for a situation like this when I talked about the snowstorm that caused the pileup on I-95. But, I guess it bears repeating as we hear from these people that talk about, oh, it was cold, my power was out. I feel for these people because I'm driving my car right now and I have the heater on because it is 40 degrees outside. So I totally understand, not wanting to be cold. But there are precautions that can be taken, things that you can do to mitigate a natural disaster situation. Having a propane heater with those little 5-gallon bottles of propane or the 1-gallon ones, you can get two different propane heaters. The 1-gallon ones, those ones are a bit cheaper. Uh, and you're only trying to heat up part of your house, not the whole thing. You get you a little airflow, so you crack a window just so the heater's not consuming all of the oxygen in the room, and you heat up the one room. If that's too pricey for you, then layers. Having plenty of blankets and sleeping bags to help keep you warm. Um, that will go the longest way. Because those sleeping bags will be useful for 15, 20, 30 years as long as you take care of them. Uh, it sounds boring to just huddle up underneath a sleeping bag, but that's one of the things you can do. If your homes have fireplaces, then having the wood stocked up, and that's the room that you keep warm, instead of having to go out and buy heaters. The most expensive thing that you could do is have an at-home generator that kicks on as soon as your power goes out. But then you got to worry about keeping fuel and, putting preservatives in the fuel to keep it, ready to go. Then, having a water supply, because in some instances your power controls, the water pressure in your house. It's not only for hygiene purposes if your power's out for an extreme amount of time, but also for drinking and preparing food. So I said food is my last word. This is why preppers say stack to the rafters. Um, different organizations have said 3 days, a week, 2 weeks. Um, from my understanding, it's going to be cold for a while, so your power is going to be out for a while. Um, that's just the way these things work. Oh, I got me some strawberry milk today. Uh, and then after that, uh, you know, diligence, keeping up with the news. Um, I don't want you to be paranoid, and every time a snowstorm comes through, you treat it like people that live on the coast with a hurricane. They clear out their store. Uh, but if you're a prepper, you pay attention to this kind of stuff, then you can restock those last minute items. Go ahead and get the fuel for the generator before the lights go out. Uh, you know, Hand warmers, those are great to put in the bottom of the sleeping bag. Let me tell you, uh, it got cold last night, 29 degrees inside of a sleeping bag. I put one hand warmer at my feet because typically my feet are what gets cold first, and it worked out great. 74 cents for a pack of two. They last for 8 hours. I had no issues last night um, in the getting cold department. Uh, what are your thoughts? You know, I think for most SHTF situations, um, having the general supplies, food, water, security, they cover a lot of things. And the power going out because of a snowstorm, you just add a little bit more to that. And it's really the staying warm aspect. I mean, you could do those little tea light candles in a clay pot on top of it. And you'd be surprised at how warm those things get. I think that's like your cheapest of the cheap option because we tried it during the snowpocalypse. Uh, Mainly, we pushed the couch up as close as we could, and we kind of put those around to help keep the cats and the dog warm some more. Uh, but staying warm and having your emergency supplies, I think you'll be just fine. And then, the last thing is, you know, let's hope for the power to come back on quickly for these people. And, you know, you're cold for a little bit. You're not miserable or freezing or anything like that. And with that, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And it's a general enough story that I would believe what Fox News is saying. I'll believe what MSNBC is saying. Uh, all the different places, whatever they're saying about it. So you can just type in, snowstorm power outage, and you'll find that one. But I'll catch you in the next one.